Hello students of class 8. Today we are going to do the second half of the Two Gentlemen Verona. We have already finished it in the online class. Once again it will be a revision for us through these subsequent videos. Now what we find is that in the first half that Valentine had been banished from Milan, and the Duke means because of the betrayal of Proteus, and the Duke had very artfully brought out the secret from Valentine. Now he had been banished from the palace as well as from the court as well as the city, and he couldn't even see Sylvia. While Proteus at Milan was thus injuring Valentine, Julia at Verona was regretting the absence of Proteus, and her regard for him at last so far overcame her sense of propriety that she resolved to leave Verona and seek a lover at Milan, and to secure herself from danger on the road, she dressed her maiden Lucetta and herself in men's clothes, and they set out in this disguise and arrived at Milan soon after Valentine was banished from that city through the treachery of Proteus. So what happened? Julia in the meantime decided, she was unable to bear the separation from Proteus, and she, for a long time she controlled herself, and then she found it very unbearable, and she decided that she would go to Milan to meet Proteus. And for that what she did was she disguised herself as well as her maid Lucetta as a man, and she set out and she reached Milan. And she reached Milan at the time when Valentine had just been banished from the city because of the treachery of Proteus. Betrayal. Treachery is betrayal of Proteus. Julia entered Milan at noon, and she took up her abode, that is her place to stay, abode at an inn. That is, she put up at an inn. Okay, she stayed at an inn. Her thoughts being all on her dear Proteus, she entered into conversation with the innkeeper or host, as he was called, thinking by that means to learn some news of Proteus. So Julia put up in an inn, and then she went into a conversation with the innkeeper, but her sole motive was to know something, means whether the innkeeper was able to tell something about Proteus or not. The host was greatly pleased that this handsome young gentleman, who from his appearance he concluded was of high rank, spoke so familiarly to him, and being a good-natured man, he was sorry to see him look so melancholy. And to amuse his young guest, he offered to take him to hear some fine music, with which he said a gentleman that evening is going to serenade his mistress. Now, when Julia entered into a conversation with the innkeeper, the innkeeper was very impressed by her, and he thought that this gentleman was a very handsome gentleman, and she belonged to a good family, and she was and he was a very gentle person, a good-natured man, as he said. But he was kind of surprised that why did this handsome young gentleman look so sad, and in order to cheer him up, to change his mood, to make him happy, what the host or the innkeeper suggested was he invited Julia to hear some fine music. And what was that music? A gentleman was going to serenade his mistress. Serenade means when a lover is trying to convince his beloved about his love, and what he does is that he stands below the window, just underneath the window, and sings praises about the lady with and it is done in open air. There is music sung in open air at night, under the window of the beloved, in that way. So he's that lover, he sings in praise of his beloved. That is a way of kind of convincing the lady about his love. The reason Julia looked so melancholy, that is sad, was that she did not well know what Proteus would think about the imprudent step, imprudent means bold step, she had taken, for she knew that he had loved her for her noble maiden pride and dignity of character, and she feared she should lower herself in his esteem, and this is what made her wear a sad and thoughtful countenance. Countenance means appearance. So what was the reason why Julia looked sad? Julia thought that after all, she was a woman, and a woman is always expected to be very controlled in her emotions. So but as she was unable to bear the pain of separation, so she came to meet Proteus in Milan, and she thought that Proteus might not take it in the right way, because he might think that it is very unbecoming of a woman to visit her lover in this way, and she was also afraid of the fact that Proteus had always loved her because of her maiden dignity, because she was always very controlled in her behavior, and she was always very conscious of it. So that is the reason why she was not very sure that whether Proteus would like or not, and that is the reason what made her sad. She gladly accepted the offer of the host to go with him and hear the music, for she secretly hoped she might meet Proteus by the way. So when she was given the invitation, she very gladly accepted it, because she thought that maybe that would give her a chance to meet Proteus. We stop here today. We'll do the rest of it in the next classes. Thank you.